Forget everything you think you know about women, because I'm about to reveal the top 10 female weaknesses every man must know. The irony is, these soft spots are hiding in plain sight, and by the time I tell you what they are, you'll wonder why you never figured it out till now. But until you do, you're bound to continue putting in way too much effort to attract a woman, while these weaknesses you can leverage stare you right in the face. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. Did you know you can make a woman conform to your ideal standard by telling her what you want her to be? For example, if you tell a woman you seem like someone that likes to have a good time, she'll go out of her way to prove that she does. You see, deep down we all want to be accepted. So when people make positive assumptions about us, we always try to prove them right. Think about it. Have you ever worked harder on a project after someone praises you for being a hard worker? Or paid more attention to your outfits after someone complimented your fashion style? In women, the desire to be accepted is almost twice as strong. So, if she values your opinion of her, take a small trait she already exhibits, label her as that, and watch her reinforce that impression. You can also do this to a lesser degree by using the second weakness I want to talk about today. If you want a woman to fall head over heels for you, compliment the things she's actively working to improve about herself. For instance, if she mentions that she's trying to get better at putting on makeup or working on a diet to lose weight, at a later time, you could tell her, "Wow, you've really improved, and I admire your consistency." This compliment would help you achieve two things. One, it'll make her feel better about all the effort she's applying, which means you'll make her feel better about herself. Two, it also shows her that you're a good listener and you cared enough to listen and pay attention. Speaking of paying attention, stay away from generic one-liners, like telling a girl, "You're beautiful." Beautiful women already know that, and it's such a cliche line that won't make you stand out at all. Instead, get more creative with your compliments by picking a specific piece of clothing or accessory. Here's an example of what I might say. Me: "I really like your bracelet. Is it handmade?" Her: "Yes, it is. I got it during my last trip to Greece." Me: "That's interesting. I've always wanted to go to Greece. Any places you'd recommend?" Notice how that specific compliment created an opportunity for more conversation. Also, remember that the more unique an item is, the likelier there is to be a story behind it. Moving on to number 4, don't be afraid to criticize her. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can criticizing someone be a weakness if they only feel insulted? But this technique works hand in hand with giving compliments. The truth is, if you're always telling a woman how amazing she is, your words will eventually start to weigh less and less. However, if you criticize her by saying, "I think the dress you wore last week suits you more," it'll not only make your compliments rare, it'll demonstrate that you're an honest and stand-up guy. If you really want her to believe you're a stand-up guy, then you can also exploit her 5th weakness. Too many men make the mistake of getting up close and personal, way too quickly, by touching, hugging, or even groping a woman, before they establish any form of physical trust. When that happens, she immediately labels you as a sleaze and will look for every opportunity to dodge being intimate with you. However, if you're able to show more restraint, she'll start to wonder, "Why isn't he touching me? Doesn't he like me?" And when you finally do, she'll be ready to devour you. Before explaining the next weakness, I need you to understand something fundamental about women. They're inherently nurturers, and it's something encoded in their DNA that none of them can escape. That means, if a woman already likes you, part of her wants to ensure you're always okay. So sometimes, you need to take a break from being a tough guy to see this side of her. It's alright to tell her when you're feeling down or sick. It'll trigger the maternal side of her when she inevitably comforts you. Just ensure you don't overdo it, so you don't wind up looking too dependent. The 7th weakness you can exploit might sound childish, but I want you to walk with me. You know how confident you feel walking into a job interview when you already have a job? Now, I want you to compare that feeling to the one you get when you're unemployed and sitting in a waiting room with 20 other people applying for the same job. You'll probably be a lot more nervous and put in way more effort to look like the best candidate when it's your turn, because you know the hiring manager has options. For a girl that likes you, casually mentioning other women you've dated in the past lets her know you're highly sought after. For example, if she complains about having a really stressful day, you could say, "Do you want me to give you a neck massage? All my exes say I have magic fingers." After saying that, her subconscious will immediately register that she's in a position that you can easily fill if she messes up. But if you present yourself like a loser that's lucky she said yes to you, she'll treat you like an applicant that already has a job. Another weakness women tend to have is that they often fall for men who are self-assured and confident in themselves. Sacrifices like wearing whatever she suggests, or only going out to eat at her favourite restaurants can backfire big time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't do the things she likes, but if it's a major inconvenience to you, or means changing who you are, then you need to choose your comfort over her desires. Trust me, if you're a smoker and she says, "I don't like guys who smoke," instead of saying, "All right, I'll quit for you," respond with, "That's too bad," and keep smoking. In that scenario, there are two outcomes. 1, she walks away, or 2, she stays and becomes even more attracted to you for standing your ground. While we're on the topic of standing your ground, women aren't the only ones allowed to have boundaries. If you have deal breakers, stick to them. And don't bend the rules just because you think a woman is hot. The moment she realizes you have a soft spot for her and are willing to tolerate behavior that goes against your principles, she'll keep testing you. I know many men think the way to a woman's heart is to bend over backwards and forgive her when she talks to you rudely or goes out with other men. But if you're not comfortable with that behavior, you need to tell her flatly, "You can't talk to me like that," or "I don't go out with polyamorous women." Trust me, she'll instantly apologize and never step out of line again because she knows it could mean losing you. The final and most important weakness you can exploit is to pay attention to your looks. Yes, men are more likely to be swayed by what they see, but I've noticed that guys often underestimate how much women are moved by looks too. Let's be honest, no woman is staying in line or offering to care for you when you're sick if she can't bring you around her friends with confidence. Even if you're not as genetically blessed as someone like Aaron Pierre, hitting the gym, dressing smart, and putting on some cologne can go a long way in making you more attractive. Congratulations! Now you know the top 10 female weaknesses every man must know. But while these tips will help you leverage a woman's weakness and keep her interest, if you want to be 10 times more attractive than every other guy she's speaking to, then you need to watch this next video on the 7 psychological tricks that make a girl obsessed with you.